It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and happy Thursday. For some reason, I keep on thinking it's Wednesday, but it is not. We have a new Real Housewives of Miami on Peacock today, so I can't wait to watch that after. And of course, Jason and I will be back later this week to recap that. In the meantime, last night's Real Housewives of Orange County episode was absolutely ridiculous. Dr. Jen Armstrong at Heather Dubrow's. We have to talk about that. We have actually a lot to talk about. So before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. That way you can join our live chat and also call in because I pinned a link at the top for the end. That way you can chime in with whatever your opinions are. And with that, let's welcome Jason from Down with Jason. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're chipper.
Oh, I don't feel chipper.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Jason, I'm going to ask you the same question that I'm going to ask everybody in the live chat. If you could rate this episode, which is so funny because yesterday I was talking to Zach Peter and we were doing our New Jersey recap and he was saying anything is better than Orange County. But then after watching last night's episode of Orange County, I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Listen, I have to say, in past seasons, especially recent seasons of OC, I really haven't enjoyed. I didn't even watch last season at all. Not because of Kelly Dodd, not because of whatever, but just because it was boring.
Right.
And I feel every episode is watchable here. I'm really enjoying OC. But this episode, I felt like it was a more calm episode than we're used to, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.
A 7. Okay, let's see what everyone's giving it in the live chat. Gracie came in with a 9. Lit Real Red said a 4. A 9. Oh my God, Dr. Jen, her whole life is such a mess. Oh, T-Talk with Shaw said a 4. Caroline Bird said an 8.345. I'm honestly going to give it a 6. Hello, Adam and Jason, my first live in a long time. Hi. Good morning. 7, a 6.5, and 8. And yes, Murray, everybody hit that like button. Almost 100 people in the room, less than 3 minutes in. Okay. Nancy came in with a 4. Okay, I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6 because I like the messiness and there is a little bit of hypocrisy here. Now, you guys know, and we've talked about this on my live before, that Heather and Terry Dubrow just landed a new show on E! And this new show is called The 7-Year Stitch. It's where they're supposed to be helping couples like Dr. Jen and Ryan work through their marital issues, work through their problems. And last night for me watching, when she invited Jen over with her husband to witness other couples who have really made the long stretch and to see, everyone has ups and downs, but you can make it through it. Well, this felt like an audition for her new show, and I feel like they absolutely failed. I mean,
how are you helping relationships, last or give relationship advice when you pour 8 glasses of Veuve and then serve cocktails? One doesn't drink, one drinks excessively. It's just, I don't think that is going to be the magic formula to fix a relationship.
Okay. Rosemary said, hi guys, coming to New York City. Got my VIP tickets. Hey, Rosemary, we can't wait to meet you. Lala Mug said, can I just say, who the hell does Heather think she is? She is acting like she has some kind of degree in psychology and can't handle her pretentiousness.
The only thing I would want to learn from Heather is how to throw a party. But then I think about it, and it's really not Heather throwing a party. It's her paying someone to throw the party. So that's when I'm like, okay. And then whoever thought of flowers in glass or under glass, even Dr. Terry Dubrow was a little like, what is that?
It was giving me Beauty and the Beast vibes for sure.
It was definitely interesting. I mean, yeah. Okay. I hope you didn't pay much for that.
Well, Tweety Tweet said she embarrassed and demeaned her husband. I felt so sorry for him. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into that. But before we do, let's kick off with this couple. They're kind of an odd couple, but I've grown to like them in some weird way. It's strange because I originally wanted her off our show, Real Housewives of Orange County, and some people might even call them cringe. But we see where Emily is preparing for her daughter's upcoming baptism, and she is an absolute emotional wreck. Rightfully so, though. She talks about how quickly her children are growing up and how Annabelle, her daughter, is going to follow in Shane's Mormon footsteps. And then she gets emotional because she starts explaining that, her father's absence in her life growing up makes her realize how great of a dad that Shane actually is. Shane gives me cringe vibes sometimes because I feel like he's just he's not very loving. He's not very sweet. He's just kind of, what is Shane? Like, if you had 2 words, guys, in the live chat to describe Shane, Emily's Mormon husband, what would you use? What words would you use to describe him?
See, the thing is with Shane, I'm trying to think if he, I don't know why I'm trying to sit here and give him excuses, but I feel like maybe
Good
he's
luck.
just a little detached. I mean, I don't know. I don't
So
know.
detached?
I don't want to say like boring. Yeah, maybe like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about Shane. I don't know what to say about Shane just as much as Shane doesn't know what to say about Shane.
Okay. Donna Turner said he's there. Those are her 2 words. Okay. Reserved.
Checked out.
Aloof. He has issues. Just there. Uncomfortable. Marriage of convenience. Unemotional. Checked out. Not happy. And just there.
Just
wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right. I mean, you guys aren't technically wrong. We'll get back to this because we had a baptism party after, but we see where Heather is off to meet her new friend. And I love, we got 2 new friends introduced in this episode, aside from like the group of friends that were at Heather's party, her little couples therapy, whatever that was supposed to be. But we meet her new friend, Tawny, and then Dr. Jen shows up, Shannon, and Heather Dubrow. And you see where Jen is happy to be having a girls' night, but she comes in with all of these emotions and explains to the women what's going on in her relationship with Ryan. She feels like the longer that they wait to talk about their issues, that the worse it's getting for her in her relationship, the more awkward it's getting. And she even kind of says, she makes him sound like he's kind of a child. And there were some things that we have to address from last night, but she makes him sound like a child. And she's like, I even tried to explain it to him in basketball terms. Like, I'm over here.
Yeah, what did you think of that analogy?
She is kind of trying to make him sound like he's, I don't want to use say stupid, but she's making him seem like he's just like, I have to dumb it down for him. And people do that to me a lot, and it really pisses me off. And for him, I don't think that he is stupid or not there or whatever the case is. I'm starting to see where Dr. Jen has a lot of the issues here in this relationship, and he's 100%. Checking out.
It's so funny because at the beginning of the season, we kind of got this look into the relationship, and you thought, maybe Ryan is the one checked out. I'm so glad, by the way, Heather, she had some great analogies. Rhine, like the river, like orange Rhine, like, okay, she made it, she made me understand how to say his name because I've been calling him Ryan. But we saw how like editing kind of made it look like Ryan was checked out. Maybe he was with the nanny, that clever little Bravo editing.
Yes.
But, we have seen that maybe it's not Ryan who's the problem. Maybe Jen's attention to her family is not the problem. And more as we go on through the season, I'm thinking that drinking for Jen is probably not the best idea. Because if she doesn't have time to spend with her kids, maybe put the bottle down for a minute and, get some more sleep so you can wake up earlier and spend time. I don't know, but it seems like she is the one kind of checked out of everything.
Listen, it seems like Ryan at this point loves his dog more than anyone. That's what I'm getting from this. But continuing on, let me see if I can bring up a good photo of her. Here, I'll just use this one. Even though this was a completely different setting. But Shannon talks about how writing a letter may be helpful in communicating her feelings to Ryan. And Jen tells the ladies that she even tried to use her basketball terminology. They all share stories about how they've navigated their relationships. And really, I was reading social media last night and Twitter, and everyone's like, who the hell made Heather a relationship expert? When she's like, listen, come over to my house and I will help and I will mentor you guys and show you how a healthy relationship works. I'm like,
well, Terry and I will show you how this is how it works to be together in a relationship for 20 years. I mean, the only thing I really got from, and I know I'm jumping around here, from that dinner was when Terry was right that a marriage for 20 years or any relationship has highs and lows and ups and downs. Great. That's not helpful. But I think Heather also wanted to have her over to show, hey, I have couples that are friends who have been together for a long time, and you can see how they act and interact. It doesn't matter how they act and interact. If something is wrong in your own personal relationship, it needs to be fixed between those two people. So I don't know if that was helpful or not.
Right. I mean, No, listen, I agree. I agree.
That-
All right, we're gonna revisit because we have a lot to talk about with that sit down. But again, we met Heather Dubrow's friend Tawny, and I said I like seeing friends because it almost feels like an audition for them every time. Mind you, last season, season 15, we met Noella Bergener very briefly, and when we did, she came in. She was a friend of Bronwyn's, and then boom, she's on the show. Well, last night we got to meet Kenny, and Kenny is Noella's friend. Kenny invites Noella over for like a girl hangout kind of session, and
Joanna Krupa.
Joanna Krupa.
Yeah.
Noella's explaining how crazy the mediation was with James Bergener. She said that James did not even show up for the meeting. Instead, he came in via FaceTime, and he was extremely quiet while Noella was going and getting into the details about finances. She said at this point she realizes she needs to work on herself now because none of this other shit is going to change. But I did like where Kenny kept on calling the mediation meditation. I'm like, no, girl, this is the furthest thing from meditation. A mediation.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Meditation makes you calm. Mediation is like, I am fighting for every cent I can freaking get and make sure that I get out of this. Everyone wants to leave the relationship feeling like they've won. Mediation, not soothing and calming. Meditation, yes, maybe. Two different things. But good job, Kenny. That was your audition. We're not bringing you back.
No, please, let's not have any more conversations about Noella and her marriage or her husband. I feel like continuously we're seeing Noella kind of share stories, and I see so many red flags when she shares stories about her relationships, just on things she's doing. I don't even know what craziness James has done besides, what he has done, which is just like leave,
Right.
But I'm like, how did you not see this not working? At this point, when your vagina stacked with two other women, I mean, then maybe that was something he liked. Maybe that was something she liked. She constantly talks about other things and other people. This is not the kind of marriage I would want to be in. And almost like, and I don't want to sound like horrible, but I don't even blame sweet James for running away sometimes.
I mean, listen, I think that there's a lot more to the conversation. We announced a couple weeks back that Jeffrey Epstein is one of our openers for our Los Angeles show. And Jeff Epstein, he has great social media content. He's hilarious as hell. But he's actually friends with all of these women from the OC. And when I was asking him about Noella and James, he said he's a big fan of James. He said, honestly, James really is like a super sweet guy. He's really great. He said for Noella.
Can I just say something? By the way, Nana's in the room, and I just want to say hi and a big shout out to Nana. I'm so excited to meet you. And we are literally 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks away, 4.5 weeks.
Yes. We're 5 weeks away, Nana.
Wait, Nana, to meet you. And I'm really excited to meet Jolene in person.
Yes.
No, I do have to say though, just at the very beginning of the season, I really, really liked Noella. I was like, this girl's coming in fire. Like, she's beautiful. She's like, she has energy. She's not afraid to like ruffle feathers or go in against Heather Dubrow. However, more and more that I watch the show, I'm just seeing like desperation leaking from her pores. She comes off like a super fan. And then watching her last night on Watch What Happens Live.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Holy hell. I'm like, girl, like settle down. I don't think you need to come in that hot. Like, it was cool when you came in, but now let's like bring it back a little bit. Let's, 2 steps back.
I agree. And Dub said LA VIP. Woo woo. All right. And you made a great point, Jason, because I had you watching reruns from season 5 of New Jersey yesterday. And when we were watching them together, you made this point saying, it's interesting because these women, they were in it at a time where they didn't even know what the housewives were supposed to be. So they all came in with these dynamic, over-the-top personalities, this energy that was very different. And then we have somebody like Noella, who, if you guys watch What Happens Live last night, well, more importantly, if you didn't, go check it out. But she comes off like a total fangirl of the show. She's watched all 15 seasons. She knows of all of the different women. And you can tell that she came in wanting to be a character.
Yeah, and this is something I talked about on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I felt we were getting caricatures of other housewives when they started. And slowly we're seeing the Salt Lake housewives like find their own slowly. But I feel like for Noella, we're still playing that caricature of like, this is how a housewife is supposed to be. And that's not, I just want to see them be them. And I really thought in the first 2 episodes, we were going to get that from Noella.
I mean, I think that she's a fangirl who came in how she thought she wanted to emulate a little bit of what Bronwyn had going on. She came in very strong. She said she's biracial, bisexual, bilingual, which are all amazing things, right? But then, she came in wanting to be very different from the rest of the group. She wanted to go against Heather Dubrow. She made up her mind. She, in the other women's opinions, she is all about herself, doesn't care to learn about the other women. She just wants to show all of them, hey, this is my husband's male parts. This is a stack of vaginas. This is like, she just came in hot. And the women, I feel like in OC, they're cut from a different cloth. I don't feel like they go around the table sharing these photos.
Something she said last night on Watch What Happens Live, she said, she couldn't say 2 nice things about Heather Dubrow. That was like part of the game. And that Andy was playing with the ladies. And she's like, I can't say any nice things. Heather is not what I wanted her to be. I'm like, what did you want her to be? You can't come in with all these preconceived notions. Now, I do have to give credit to new housewives coming in, because like, how do you fit in a 16th season? And that's where I felt like Noella started to shine at the beginning. Now, however, with all of that said about Noella, okay, because I just kind of like totally trashed her for a second, I don't want to see her go anywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. Honestly, I was just saying this earlier because I did a video on Candace Diller Bassett because we heard rumors that she would be exiting Potomac, that she was getting fired. And then she came out with a cryptic tweet saying when one door closes, another one will open. And I was like, okay, everybody's reading into this like she's been fired from the show. But I said,
well, she's also an actor. So they get told no a lot. So it's, maybe she just didn't get the job.
It could be that too. But, also for Candace not being on the show, do I think she's a mess on social media? Yes, 100%. But I like her on the show. It's just like a lot of people didn't like Mary Cosby, and some people don't like Jen Shaw. I'm afraid for the future of Salt Lake City without both of those personalities, if that happens, because they add a lot to the show. So really, sometimes when we love people or love to hate people, whatever the case is, we need some of these dynamic energies to be on or a part of an ensemble cast to really keep us interested. That's all.
Yeah. Agreed.
Coffee Buzz, you're shady as hell. I want a taller stack. Oh, next season. Okay. Over 300 watching, 96 likes. Let's get to 150. Yes, Murray, I agree. 300 people in the room. Continue to smash that like button, and let's move on to Gina. Okay. Gina invites over Heather Dubrow in order to go through her closet. And when she comes in, Gina just immediately lets Heather know. She's like, listen, I don't have a push for champagne button in my closet. And she's like, oh, that's okay. Like, it's like, she's not surprised. And
she's like, we're going to have to get it here.
Right. Right. And we know that Gina's townhouse can definitely fit in Heather Dubrow's master bedroom. But the point is, Heather did not come in very judgy of Gina's house. She wanted to help her. And she said, listen, I feel like you're on an upswing and that you need your clothes to reflect the woman that you are starting to be, a woman who is starting her own business. So she went to Gina's house and she came with
though. Huh? Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about how Heather came into Gina's house.
Okay.
With a shopping rack of 2 jackets, because she didn't know which size Gina would be, but I brought you 2 just in case. I really wish I had a friend like that at this point. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not saying I completely love Heather, but if Heather came to my house with 2 jackets like that, I'd be...
Listen, you guys can show up to our house any day. Jason gets messages and it's like the dermatology company, or we get up a new package and it's like Murray sending us amazing wine, and Jason feels like a celebrity. He's like, look at this stuff. So, it does, you get excited when you get things like this. And, especially somebody coming into your house trying to dress you, I would live for a moment like that. I mean, you're more used to it. You grew up in Saks. I grew up in like getting my clothes from Walmart. So it's very different.
Okay.
But
I like live in Saks, friend.
Okay. Well, Heather, getting back to it, let me go ahead and bring this picture back up. Heather believes that Gina doesn't understand her own personal style. And so she's decided to help Gina purge her closet. And that included her prom dress, her wedding dress. She feels like, listen, Gina, you need to move on. a lot of this stuff needs to be thrown out. So let's get it done. Let's get the shit out and let's reflect. Have your clothing
This is
reflect
like
the new woman that you're about to be.
this is like you and me. You want to hang on to stuff for like a long time, and I want to get rid of it. If it's not necessary anymore, I either want to gift it away or not gift it. Sorry, now I'm sounding like Mary Cosby. I don't want to gift it away. I want to
Donate it.
you know, donate it or whatever. I don't like holding on to stuff. But I did have a friend who was maybe a little older than Gina, and she, you know, just finished a relationship. She was at a new place in her life. And the one thing that made her feel better is she actually spent money to get a stylist to empty her closet, give her fresh new clothes with a new look. And it made her feel good. And you saw the confidence in her, and you saw how much it just changed her. So I think it is a good, yeah. I'm not going to say that on here. I just told you that. No. Do I know that friend? I'm
curious.
No, but I think that was, I understand where Heather's coming from. It's like, okay, get rid of the old stuff that you're hanging on to with these memories that are like good and bad. And it was sad to see Gina get so emotional about her wedding dress,
right?
You know, and yeah, but I do think that kind of cleaning out the closet sometimes is a necessary thing.
Well, shit, I want one of my friends to come clean out my closet.
Yeah, I want a Heather Dubrow. I don't want to hire a stylist. I don't want to, you know, I want Heather Dubrow to bring over some pink. I would wear a pink leather jacket if it was like that. That's fine.
Listen, Heather Dubrow, I don't really need you to counsel me on my relationship because you failed in this past episode. But with the clothing, you might be onto something. All right. Well, let's move back on to Miss Emily really quick. It's time for Annabelle's baptism reception at Shane's parents' house, and Emily could not be more proud. We saw Lizzie. She made a cameo, and we've seen Lizzie, Izzy, Gizzy, everything in the world that Vicky Gunvalson used to call her. She had her bathing suit line, but she did make it to Emily's house. And
I was shocked to see Lizzie. Sorry.
Well, they're actually really close friends.
Yeah.
But you see where Emily calls the baptism a beautiful thing. Even, you know, she's even sharing with us that Shane cried during the ceremony. Shane was the one who dunked Annabelle. Emily is thrilled to know that in her mind, she has the best dad for her kids, but it's also continuing to make her reflect on how much time she lost with her own father. Now, there was a messy moment with Emily because even though it's a baptism, Emily still had the champs rolling and they were drinking. And
listen,
when she starts drinking, she does get messy as hell. We all know that. So let's go from there. Gina ends up joining the dinner and Emily pulls her aside to chat. When she does, you see a drunk Emily who wants to come clean, and she lets her know that
her kid's baptism. This is just so crazy because when I was baptized, it was like a backyard barbecue at my grandmother's house with all the Mormon platters that you can think of. Like,
I got lied to when I got baptized. My whole situation was I was in a Baptist church. I didn't even know. I went to the church one time, and my stepmom wanted me to be baptized, and I didn't know what it meant or anything. And she told me,
if baptized I just do for pizza.
Yeah, well, she said if we're gonna dunk you in the river, and if we do, then you'll get pizza. So that's how they baptized me. And then finally I called my mom after and I got on the phone with her to let her know what happened. And my mom was just like infuriated that I went through this process without having an understanding. And she's like, if you're going to do it, amazing, but he needs to know what he's doing. You don't just bribe him with pizza. But they got me with the pizza.
Trying to save you.
Anyways, Emily actually, tells Shannon that Gina feels as though Shannon is jealous of her friendship with Heather. And it did seem very like middle school or high school, but Emily tells Gina that Shannon, feels like Gina likes to talk about herself a lot. And Gina did not respond well to that. She found it funny, but she's like, honestly, she's starting to piss me off. And I was like, oh, here we go. We get the new feud. Get the new feud because this is not the woman you want to piss off.
Listen, I'm enjoying it so much, Emily and Gina this season, but Gina knew. I mean, Emily was like, oh, it might have slipped. I was drunk, Emily. But Gina knew exactly what she was doing. In fact, they both know what they're doing because they've been tag teaming the other women since the beginning of this.
See, I mean, it's okay. Alicia said, Jason has a beautiful smile, makes me smile. Aww.
Oh, thank you. That made me smile.
Jason is gorge, period. Okay, enough about Jason. No, just kidding. Getting back to it. The original photo that I brought up of Shannon is at a restaurant in her, what they call, or she calls, her usual booth. This was
That's
the
a
same
quiet
restaurant that she
woman.
was in.
I mean, come on.
This was
Talk
the same
about
restaurant that she was in.
hypocrisy.
Do you remember
Talk
when
about
Kelly
it.
Dodd said,
Yes.
why don't you just get some hormones and eat your food? And she's like, that's not my fucking plate. You fucking bitch. Like, do you remember that? This is the same restaurant.
Yes. I just
Okay.
love that it's called Quiet Woman, and we've never had quiet women in that restaurant ever.
I thought it was called the Quiet Cat for some reason, but yes, these women are far from quiet in this place. It's actually kind of the irony in it all. But Shannon and, you know, her boyfriend John sit down, and she's sharing way too much about her level of intimacy with John. Obviously, at this point, she's saying that she's learning new things and that the sex drive is there, and we don't need to know about any of this. But
No,
Shannon,
not at this point in time.
no. Shannon decides to tell John, you know, that she is reeling from this jealousy comment, and she's unsure what to do about her friendship with Gina. She believes that Gina has made a few statements, and she's coming from a place of arrogance. And John even said that Gina's behavior is cruel. Shannon feels like she needs to get to the bottom of this whole situation, but when you see what's going on, we get like a throwback B-roll pan over to footage we haven't seen, and Gina's literally telling Shannon, how many friends do you have? She's like, well, I can count them on my hands, whatever. And Gina's like, that's a problem. Maybe you need to look into that. But I disagree with Gina. When I was in my early 20s, I'm only 28, but when I was in my early 20s, I had a ton of friends who I thought were my friends. They would, you know, we would go out. They weren't my real friends. And I would tell you at the time that I had 30, 40 friends. And now I can literally count all of my friends on two hands. Really, my true friends, I can probably count my true friends on one hand, but I can count them on two hands. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I would rather have a more close circle of quality friends than quantity, especially the older I get.
I agree. The older you get, the less you want to be around people who cause you to, I don't know, not be happy or weigh you down. And real friends, it's a test of time, really.
Right. I mean, I agree.
Shannon's a bit older. She's been through it a little more than Gina has. I mean, I'm sure Gina lost friends when she got divorced.
Yeah. I mean, Elaine Hargate, you only need a few real friends. I agree.
This is true.
I had a true friends. I prefer quality than quantity. D Dot is sending you flowers. I think that's what that means. Okay. And show the love and hit that like button. Thank you, Rosemary. But, you know, you could see where John is obviously not happy with this whole Gina situation. And I'm curious how this is going to play out, especially when we get Gina going to New York with Heather. So
yeah, I'm very curious. I'm curious to see how Heather is so OCD, but then, you know, in the preview for next episode, didn't care that there was pizza sauce all over her purse. So I'm waiting to see that.
Yes. Okay. Well,
actually, that's what I'm most excited for next episode.
Shall we get to the moment that we've all been waiting for?
Yes. First of all, can we talk about the moment of them entering 18 gates to get to this house? And then the moment of them entering into this house. Poor Ryan, he's so out of his element here, right? I mean, the poor guy, he has to wear a shirt and shoes. So, you know.
Oh, the poor guy has to wear a shirt and shoes. Like,
yeah, shirt and shoes or no service. No shirt, no shoes, no service. We've all seen that, especially around the beach. But, you know, like he's just out of his element. And then when I'm going to call him Dr. Terry DeBro because I'm so stuck on that doctor thing. But when Terry DeBro asked him, you know, do you want to drink? No, he doesn't drink. Then he starts going on to like cocaine, heroin, and Ryan's looking at him like, what the hell kind of question is this?
He's like no. Could you imagine? I feel like you would walk into DeBro's house and they'd be sitting there like this. Like, hey.
They're like, hello, welcome.
Hello, welcome. Like, yes, we're here to help you with your relationship.
Yeah, intimidation gate 1, intimidation gate 2, intimidation entrance, and then they're just sitting there, and that's intimidating. So for someone like Ryan who's not in his element, this is a very not fun evening. Like
he
already
just
you
feel
feel
why he couldn't bring the dog.
Yeah, and already you feel it awkward when, you know, Heather and Jen get up and then go have their own conversation, and then I'm like, I feel sorry for Ryan, but I also feel sorry for Terry because you can't have a conversation with Ryan. Ryan is uncomfortable. The whole thing was just weird.
The gym socks did it for me.
And yes, they did. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling right now, but I love how they left one seating area to go downstairs and have a seat at another seating area. This is rich people problems. I love it.
She has to utilize all of her sitting rooms.
Absolutely, or it wouldn't be worth it.
Okay. Well, as we continue on in the gym
Look at Jen.
It's really funny because I've worn a full suit with gym socks before, and I think you've gotten on to me about that.
Oh, Adam, you are pure Ryan when it comes to like
I am
fashion. That's 100%.
Except I'm not as reserved. But Ryan seems like he's less than thrilled to 1, wear clothes, 2, wear the shoes. In the gym socks, they killed me. And he did not want to leave his dog at home. So this was not off to a good start. And it was interesting when Dr. Terry DeBro decides to sit Ryan down and he's asking him about his relationship. And they're both asking about the relationship, almost like pitching this new show that's coming. That's what it felt like an audition for this new show. By the way, guys, 400 in the room, smash that like button. But you can see he's clearly uncomfortable. And then he gets down to the bottom of it and finds out that Ryan's vice at one point was he was a poker guy. He played a lot of poker. And then,
but don't you need to wear a shirt and shoes to play poker? Like, don't they dress up to play poker? Am I just wrong?
It depends where you're playing poker. Like if you're playing it in the boys' garage, maybe not. But if you're playing it in Vegas, yeah, probably.
But he did it for a living. So that makes me think that he was a bit more of a real like poker player.
Oh. Well, maybe that like lack of emotion probably served him really well playing poker. I don't know.
Yeah, that's very true.
But getting back to it, you see where he says to Dr. Terry DeBro says to Ryan, oh, so there's a bit of a role reversal here. I couldn't imagine being married to a doctor, which kind of feels a little demeaning. Like I'm the doctor and Heather, gets to be married to me, but I couldn't imagine being a man married to a doctor. It's like, why couldn't you imagine that?
I don't know. It's such a weird... I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to answer that. It just, the whole thing was uncomfortable.
The whole thing was uncomfortable. And then moving on, we see where some more of Heather's friends arrive at the house. And
holy hell.
You think it's going to lighten the mood, but they all, her whole objective here was, listen, these are my friends. They've been in relationships for a long time. And at the table, things just get awkward. Jen is absolutely wasted. Okay. She directs Ryan on how to sit and how to act. And the drunker she gets, the more introverted Ryan becomes. Now, we saw a moment when Ryan makes a bib out of his napkin, which everybody was cringing. And she's like, can you take that down, please? Can you please take that down? I'm dying. Can you please take it down? And it kind of was like
for me,
cherry on
she
top
said
of
for
the
me.
whole situation.
Yeah. This was just embarrassing. But it seems like, though, when Ryan was talking to Terry, he says, oh, God, she must be lucky to have you because you probably do more around the house. And he's like, yes, would you please tell her that? It seems like she doesn't understand what Ryan does at home because she's so busy making the money and running the business. But then she's expecting him to also act and be a certain way for her in front of people. And I'm just, I don't know. There's such a big crater of I don't know how to describe it, but I think they're confused on how to communicate with each other and what each other's needs are.
And Donna Turner said he was mortified at her behavior. I agree. And Cubby said, Adam, perfect drunk Dr. Jen voice. I've had practice. Okay. This just gets worse and worse. And finally, Heather decides to ask Dr. Jen and Ryan how they met. And Dr. Jen gives her version of the story. And she's like, listen, we met at a breakfast buffet and he was wearing these white Louis Vuitton sunglasses. Yeah. And, I just fucking loved him. I was like, that's my man. And then she started
going on about Harvard, how they had kids already. Then it was Harvard and fucking Harvard. Oh my God, this woman.
And you see where the people sitting at the table were like, girl, how did you get invited to Harvard? Because it doesn't right now. That's not how it's reading. And she shares that they had children before they actually got married. And she's dropping F-bombs all over the place, which you see Heather DeBro looks incredibly uncomfortable. And she tells the group that Ryan only proposed to her because she was going off to Harvard for schooling. And then when Heather said, okay, we've heard your side, let's listen to Ryan's side. He just looked and he said, whatever she says. And she's like, no, I really want to hear from you. And Dr. Jen would not let him talk. She was afraid that he was going to have a different version of this story. I don't know what it was, but every time he would try to speak, she's like, it's okay. It's how we met. And
we've also seen in past episodes, though, Ryan doesn't really want to put his business on camera.
Right.
He doesn't want this to happen. We've seen relationships really either get lost or struggle, especially on reality TV. I don't think he's not used to this. I don't think he's used to being the center of attention anyway, that he just gets uncomfortable. When she got too drunk, it's just he had to walk away. That's all he did. And that's more admirable than staying at the table and trying to fight with a drunk wife,
Yeah. Yeah. Once she put her hands over her face, I was done. Okay. I love too, as this conversation's going, she's like, Heather D, I just love this wine. This wine's great. And she said it probably 500 times, love this wine. This is great. And then she whispers to the server, she's like, just make sure you keep the wine
keep it
coming.
full.
Okay,
yeah.
fill it to the
See,
top.
something's
Okay.
wrong. You're hiding from something. You're running from something. You're not enjoying yourself. You're drowning yourself in alcohol to get rid of any kind of resentments or feelings that you're having. And that's just not the proper way. Again, though, I don't think Terry and Heather having Jen and Ryan over was couples therapy. I don't think this was therapeutic to anybody, not their friends they had over for dinner, not the flower in the glass. This was just kind of like, it was a shit show. But again, if you're trying to help someone and you're trying, feeding them 2 bottles of Veuve, a cocktail, and some really good red wine that you probably don't want to put down, is not a great idea.
Right. Well, listen, I agree with you on that. But what did you think about when Ryan actually got up and he's like, I'm going to walk away. And he literally walks over to the room close enough where he's sitting in the chair on the phone. And you could see from the same camera angle what's happening at the table and him sitting over on the couch. A lot of people on social media, they were saying that was rude and that he left his wife hanging. But I honestly didn't blame him for it.
I saw it a different way. I mean, I really did, because I saw her just get to, when you're that drunk and you're that out of control, the things you say and do, I would have to walk away too. I mean, I know that's rude. You could, excuse yourself, of course, from the table, because I'm sure that went through Heather's head of etiquette and OCD craziness. But, excuse yourself from the table and walk away, because at that point, I think, like we said, there's just so much resentment there that you don't want to stay around that. I mean, it gets annoying to sit right next to that.
Right. No, I mean, this is an interesting take. D-Dot, in my opinion, he's a coward in making his wife feel bad about her success.
Okay. Yeah. There's different ways of looking at it, for sure. I think on both sides, there's judgments, there's resentment, there's lack of communication. I think he probably feels like he does a lot at home. I feel like she probably feels like she does a lot in making money in the business, and they're not acknowledging each other's wins. And instead, it's, you don't care about this, you don't understand this. Well, there's got to be a wall broken down here so they can communicate. That's what it feels like to me.
Interesting that you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is that face?
What is what face? What are you implying?
I'm not implying anything. Okay. So at the end of it, I saw where a lot of people were giving the DeBro shit on this. And I want to mention this before we bring up Noella's Watch What Happens Live cringy moments to wrap us off. But, when they actually end up exiting, Heather DeBro reveals to the table that they've been having marital issues. And Terry kind of snickers and he goes, let's be honest, they're a mess. I mean, he's not wrong, but is that it doesn't seem like there's any sensitivity to the situation.
The biggest battle they've ever had is an onion ring. So I feel like that's not really, you can't put yourself in their shoes. So I don't think that would be a, correct statement.
I mean, listen, I agree. All right. So since you wanted to talk a little bit about the Watch What Happens Live, Noella Bergener, I'm going to pull up a photo, but what were your thoughts about Noella's appearance last night? And guys, if you watched Noella on Watch What Happens Live, I want to hear from you as well.
Okay. So my thoughts were, like I said, leaking desperation from your pores. You came on like a fangirl. You put on an outfit to garner attention. It wasn't about you. It was about the show you were putting on. That's what it felt like to me. And to have Cynthia Bailey there, who is so well-versed in Housewives. She was on 11 seasons. You sit her like an OG next to someone new, and you just see the dynamic is just so different. Every time Andy would ask a question or do any kind of trivia, Noella just knew the answer. It was just strange. I just felt she was more of a fan. But like I said, you got to give credit to these new ladies who are coming into a franchise like the OG franchise, Orange County, 16 seasons in. How do you act? I mean, you are probably watching the other housewives in previous seasons, but again, Salt Lake City is full of caricatures of different housewives. So I don't know. I just felt it was, I don't know.
I mean,
but again, as I said, she's warming up, and I really don't want to see her go anywhere.
well, I think that everyone
I
deserves
sound like
a
a
second
hypocrite
season
now.
too.
Yeah.
You know, but even when she came on, I love when Andy asked her the shady question and says, guys, for all of you watching, go to wwhl.tv, whatever and just vote. And he said, Noella, who do you think in your cast needs the biggest makeover? And before she can even answer, the votes come in and they all voted Noella. And I was dying laughing. And she's like, what?
Maybe they got confused, though, about like a makeover for they're watching her on the show now. I mean, great outfit, very forward, very fun. I really loved it. Would have done probably better at Lisa Hochstein's, like, one of her Halloween parties or pool parties. But no, it was nice. I mean, I love the hair. I love that. It just screaming for attention. Like, Noella is always screaming for attention. And you look at Cynthia sitting right there. She didn't have to do anything.
She came in, and I think the problem with her, which Andy Cohen seemed like he was incredibly annoyed with her. He looked like he did not like her. Yeah, well, really, but we've seen it before. We've seen it with him and Candace. We've seen it with him and Kelly Dodd.
Aiden.
Who?
Jennifer Aiden. When she was on Watch What Happens Live, he didn't even look at her.
Yeah, he was so awkward. And then Noella, he seemed the same thing. Like, it seemed like he just did not like her. And he was asking her questions, and she should be able to say at least one or two nice things about Heather Dubrow. But you could tell, and he was trying to pull something out of her. And she said, I just think that she's a vile, disgusting human being. And then he said, what do you think about Tamra Judge calling you the village idiot? And she's like, well, coming from the OG village idiot herself, I think that, and she kind of went in to start. She was a little like, I don't understand why housewives want to chime in on things when they've been fired. And like, it just seems desperate to me. And Andy Cohen immediately jumped to Tamra's defense saying, well, to be fair, I asked her the question, so it is what it is.
Which made me think, like, are we going to get Tamra back? I mean, we want to see Tamra and Noella on the show together and see them go at it. I mean, I would. But again, Adam, I think what's happening with Noella too is she has a lot going on too, with the divorce, with her attention-seeking habits that we've seen. But I think she's going to be really good next season. Really good. I feel like she's figuring it out. She's coming in with what she thinks she should do. And then she's going to go back, watch what didn't work, and feel like I need to be more me. Because if I get too much like Bronwyn, then people lose interest if it's just too much. And so maybe she'll pull it back a bit.
Katie Roberts said, so it's okay for Tamra to say something about Noella, but not the other way around. I don't think that's what it is. I think he asked her about the village idiot comment, but then once she answered saying coming from the biggest OG village idiot, whatever. But then I think it's when she went into the whole, I don't understand former housewives who like to chime in. It's like, girl, you've been fired. Nobody cares about you, whatever. I think that's when Andy was like, well, to be fair, I was the one who asked the question. So,
if someone called me the village idiot, I would probably respond just like Noella.
Right. Exactly. So with that, guys, I don't know what that Twitch was, but with that, guys, I want to know what you're looking forward to most, in next week's episode. I don't even think I saw the preview for next week's episode. Jason, did you?
Yeah, no, it looks great. And Gina and Heather are on their way to New York. Again, that's what I can't even talk right now. After watching that entire preview, all that I could focus on was the pizza sauce on Heather's purse and how unbothered she was. And I was like, I'm stressing out for Heather because I know how she reacts and I know how she likes perfection and standards that you need a ladder to hold. I'm like, is that one of the standards? Because I feel like you're going to flip your shit when you see the pizza sauce on your purse. That's
Chanel.
really what I'm looking forward to next week.
She's like, this bag is only $3,000. It's fine. It's just, no, this is like my day bag. Okay.
Good Lord.
Scott Lee said, yay, catching you live. So ready for Nashville. Hey guys. So again, yesterday we announced that we have our merch coming. So I did want to just make sure that I post that really quick or bring it up for you guys. Hold on. Let me just bring up the photo really quick. I'm so excited. We had a lot of sales yesterday from our merch. It's only up for 2 weeks. So if you haven't gotten it, make sure you go check it out. grab the merch. It's for the tour. It's specific to every single city. And then if you're not able to make one of the cities, well, then we have one specifically for you. Also, I wanted to add in here too. I know I've been pushing this a lot and we've already done over 12 cameos, but Jason and I, mostly me, but also Jason too, because there have been some requests for Jason. And if it's, listen, Joe Mendoza asked Jason and I to have a twerk off, and we said, no, we're not doing that. We're just going to donate ourselves and we'll do it that way. So we skipped out on only one so far, but we have done some interesting requests. You guys can go see it on here. You can go to Cameo. I posted it in my community tab. They're $15 and 100% of the proceeds go back to Be Strong. And Be Strong takes 100% of those proceeds and they end up donating it to Ukraine. So I think it's a great cause. It's only $15. You guys can go to my Cameo and order one. And as soon as you do, it should be filled within 24 to 48 hours, depending on what we have going on and how crazy the request is. Let's just say that. If it's an easy request, we'll bump them out. If it's like some of these other ones, we give us a second. We'll figure it out because I'm not an actor. Okay.
Oh my God, Adam. And I don't want to like take away from this because, you know, Ukraine and the people of Ukraine and people who are stuck in the country or getting out of the country and still have nowhere to go. It's very heavy on everyone's minds. Like it really is. They keep everyone in your prayers. I mean, every night, Adam and I are saying prayers because this is a crazy situation going on in the world. But this is such a great way to give back. So if you want to make us look silly, but I do want to say, Coffee Buzz, we totally forgot the biggest thing at Heather's dinner in this recap.
What?
The amuse-bouche.
Oh, okay.
It goes first before the chopped salad.
Listen, you can keep your amuse-bouche. Where did we work where they had
the amuse-bouche?
Where did we work where they had? Oh, it was at Lunetta. Remember on the serious side, the formal side, where you would get an amuse-bouche, and I would listen, guys. I used to peddle amuse-bouches all the time, where I would sit down, or people would sit down, and they'd be like, "Would you like an amuse-bouche?" And they're like, "Oh, what is that? It sounds so great." And I'm like, "I don't fucking know what it is. Do you want it or not?" I don't know. I didn't know what it was, but amuse-bouche.
You have printed menus. You have flowers in glass containers for what reason no one knows, and you're worried that the chopped salad is above the amuse-bouche.
I mean, she's type A all the way for sure. She is type A
all the way.
Yes, it is a soup. LOL. Yeah, but it could be an onion soup. It could be and
it just comes in a little like shot glass kind of thing, right? Where you just like have a little to open the palate or. Rich people problem. It's not even rich people problems. It's like rich.
Can I tell you, McDonald's, Subway, and the Thai restaurant that we order from, they don't have amuse-bouches. So I don't know.
Hey, Steve Jobs wore a t-shirt, jeans, and tennis shoes to create the iPhone. I think he did a great job without some amuse-bouche.
See? Jason was so serious. LOL. Okay. All right. Well, with that, Jason, is there anything that I'm forgetting? Anything that we have coming up?
No, just hit us up on Cameo and let's do some fun things and let's get some money to people who need it. At this time, you know, in the world where things are not promised for tomorrow. Right. So,
and the great thing about Cameo too, guys, is that it's letting us donate at the end of every single day. It's letting us donate straight to Be Strong. So they're getting the money right away. So far from Cameo, we've donated 200, plus we've had a couple other donations on PayPal and stuff that we will also be donating. I think that we're almost at $400 in 3 days, which if you think about it, they're saying it's $50 a train ticket for someone to make it out of Ukraine. And if that's the case, that means, all right, we've helped at least 8 people. That's at least like a little family, and we can continue to help. I'm not planning on taking off the Cameo and changing where the proceeds are going anytime soon. As long as this is happening, all of my Cameo efforts, they will be going to Be Strong in order to help Ukraine. Guys, if you're not following Jason on his channel, Down with Jason, make sure you go follow him. Jason, are we recapping the reunion for Miami tomorrow or this weekend?
Yes, we'll be back on our normal day. Of course, every time we tried to do Miami, it's been half on Friday, half on Sunday, because either we've been out of town or have had things going on. So yes, we will be recapping Miami tomorrow. I'm so excited. And also, who is excited for Top Chef tonight? Is anyone excited for Top Chef, or is it just me? because I love that show. I might have to like do a little like video on it.
Is
It'll be
it
fun.
anything like Hell's Kitchen?
It's like I think it's like different. I just find it very different.
Well, Hell's
than
Kitchen was like bringing people from like the Bad Girls Club and like just really dysfunctional reality TV people who are like, you said that to me in the kitchen, where I feel like Top Chef is like legit serious. Like these people aren't coming from like a diner. They're coming from like these extensive backgrounds, and they're like, we're going to prove that we are the best in the culinary world. So watch.
And
this.
for someone who can't cook, it's like sexy to watch these people cook. I love it. So I'm definitely checking it out. It's also in Houston, which is such a big foodie city. And I'm just excited to see what we get.
Well, everybody in the chat, Tess-ish, I love Top Chef. Top Chef, yes. Love Top Chef.
I feel like we would have a great conversation about Top Chef on my channel. I think I might do that.
I'm a Top Chef addict. Okay, Jason, I love Top Chef. Top Chef is awesome. Okay, Christy Gaines, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you, or super sticker. Top Chef is inspiring. Padma's Taste the Nation show was also incredible. Top Chef, yes, I can't wait for Top Chef. Okay, guys, please cover it, Jason.
Anything, yeah, let's cover that. I think that would be fun because that's, you know, I like to get away from Housewives, like Below Deck. Top Chef would be a good one, something like that, because I really do love those shows. Anything like that is more lifestyle. Have you ever seen Restaurants on the Edge? That is a great show too.
I've seen
that's fantastic.
An episode.
I love restaurants cooking shows. Not Vanderpump Rules, but you know, like the real ones.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, I guess Jason will be working on a Top Chef recap. Maybe we'll see.
Let's do it.
And then we'll be back tomorrow for the Miami recap. Guys, we love you so much. Thank you. I have more pre-records coming your way today. I'll keep an eye out for cameos, and definitely make sure to go grab your tour merch. It's posted in the community tab, but also in the description of this video. Love you guys. Thank you so much to all of our amazing mods. Thank you to everybody who was in the chat. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.